present time, I'm going to alter my course to 200 and reduce speed to about 12 knots to win my way through the ice coming out of Columbia Bay. Once we're clear of the ice, we'll give you another shot, over.
Roger that, over.
On behalf of the 7 oil companies that own the Alaska pipeline, I'd like to thank you all for being here tonight. I think the record speaks for itself, folks. 12 years we've had tankers coming in and out of the Valdez terminal, and in all that time, no major accidents, no major spills. Sure, we've had spills, but they've never been a problem because we clean them up in time, which is why we're here tonight. Back in January, BP's tanker Thompson Pass leaked 70,000 gallons of oil. But you guys mopped it up in what I would call a textbook response. Go ahead. You have every right to feel proud of yourself.
What kind of gap do we have between Bly Reef and the leading edge of the ice?
Say 9/10 of a mile.
Okay, take a fix. I'm going to ease her around a bit to avoid that ice. Steer 180.
180.
Then put her on autopilot.
Sir.
Hi. Exxon Valdez has changed course to 200. He's diverting to the inbound channel to avoid ice. Seems like a lot of it around tonight.
Okay. Where is he? He's not in the lanes.
Yeah, he went off the screen about 10 minutes back. I guess the scope's acting up again.
Ah. Okay, fine.
Good night.
Helm relieved, sir. We're headed 180 on autopilot.
On autopilot.
That's what the man ordered.
Okay, thanks.
I'm going below, Greg. On your beam of the Busby light, start to turn her back into the traffic lanes, okay?
Sure, no problem.
Call me if I'm not back before then.
Yes, sir. Let's stick with manual. I'm not in open water yet.
Sir, we got a red buoy light flashing off the starboard bow.
Right?
It should be to port, sir. Sir?
Yeah, okay, thanks. Steer right, 10 degrees.
10 degrees right, sir.
Sir?
Yeah.
I'm starting to turn back now. It's possible we may get into some of the ice, just clip the edge of it.
Okay, you reckon you know what to do?
Sure, yeah, I got it.
Good, I'll be back up in a while.
Great, thank you, sir.
That red light, sir? It's still to starboard.
Oh, yeah?
It should be to port, sir.
Right. Supply reef boy. It's okay, we're swinging her around. Steer right, 20 degrees.
20 degrees right. On right rudder.
I think we're in serious trouble, sir. We have some kind of navigation problem.
Hard left. On left, sir. Hard right. On right, sir.
Captain, I'm in the cargo control room. We're losing oil fast from the center and starboard tanks.
Yeah, it's a Valdez back. We've... Should be on your radar there. We've fetched up hard aground off Bly Reef, and evidently we're leaking some oil. It looks like we're gonna be here a while. Over.
Exxon Valdez. Roger.
I guess this is one way to end your career.
I knew it. I knew this was coming.
Hard left. Hard right. On right, sir. Half ahead.
Up ahead.
Hard left. On left, sir. Slow ahead.
Slow ahead.
Calling all vessels in the area of Prince William Sound. The captain of the port has ordered Port Valdez be closed to all traffic until further notice.
It seems like he was trying to avoid heavy ice.
Well, so he hits the reef instead? And what's Alieska doing? They're supposed to launch the emergency response.
Larry Shire is on his way to the terminal right now to mobilize his guys. I'm sending a boat to the ship. You ready?
You bet I'm ready. This could be a pollution disaster. The first thing I need to know is exactly how much oil she's losing.
I told Alieska we're gonna need chemical dispersants. They reckon they have 50 drums at the terminal.
50? Is that all? The contingency plan says they're supposed to have damn near 400.
I know. I told them to get more, wherever they could find it.
Just hope these Alieska guys are on top of this thing.
So what's the problem with the response barge?
Got a crack in the bow from that storm we had about a month back.
What, you mean we can't use it?
Well, actually, the crack's above the waterline, so I suppose it'll put to sea okay.
Is it loaded up?
Hell no. We took all the equipment off after the Thompson Pass spill to clean it up, and then we didn't put it back on again because we were going to fix the bow.
Well, you better get it loaded back up and fast.
Yes. Hello?
Frank, it's Darrell Warner. Sorry to wake you, but I have some bad news. We've got trouble. The Exxon Valdez has run aground in
Okay, good. Call me when you know, okay? Bye. I want you to contact the ship and get as many details as you can. What's the damage, how much cargo she's carrying, stability of the vessel.
Dead slow ahead.
Dead slow ahead.
Stop engines.
Until we know the scale of the problem, Craig, just have everybody on alert. I'll get back to you as soon as I know more, okay? Okay. I don't believe it. 20 years without a major spill, and now we got 2 in 1 month.
Is it bad?
I don't know yet, but the Hawaii spill was over 35,000 gallons. That's big. We cleaned up, no problem. I just wish to God it would stop happening in the middle of the damn night. I'll call you soon.
Okay.
And don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah, that's her. Let's go outside and get a better look.
We're coming up on the Exxon Valdez. She is hard aground and is on a slight list. Can't really see any oil right now, but sure can smell it. It's, real bad fumes all around. And you can see a thick black line running all along the hull.
Jeez. Take a look at that.
Captain? What exactly is the nature of the problem?
I think you're looking at it. You smell his breath, Tom?
Hard not to. Maybe we should run a sobriety test on the crew.
Right. Do we have the authority to do that?
I'm not sure.
Maybe we better have somebody sent out to the ship.
Hey! Captain, I think you'd better put that out. Could be pretty risky with all these fumes around.
Are you sure? She's lost how much?
6 million gallons.
Stuff's just pouring out.
The total cargo's over 50 million gallons, so obviously we gotta get that oil off the ship fast. We have another tanker, the Exxon Baton Rouge, standing by for that.
Does Exxon aim to come up to Valdez, take over the spill? Because I guess you know that under Alyeska's agreement with
With the owner companies, the spiller has the responsibility here. Frank? Frank?
Sure. We'll mobilize a full casualty response.
As of now, I'll be flying up today with as many of our people as we can muster.
That's good to hear, Frank.
It'll take us a bit of time to get up to speed, you understand. This is the Easter holiday weekend, so I'd expect Alyeska to make the initial response until we're fully operational.
Don't worry. Now, my guys are working flat out.
Hey! Dave! What the hell are those guys doing?
Well, Captain's the only one who knows how to operate the forklift and the loading crane. It's not their normal job. The crane riggers are a different crew. So there ain't a hell of a lot the rest of them can do.
Larry, we just had a call from the Coast Guard. The priority now is to get the oil off the ship. They want all hoses and fenders out to the side right away. We better use that fast tug, the Sea Flyer.
We just loaded that stuff onto the barge.
Well, it'll just have to be unloaded.
Okay, we've mobilized the West Coast strike team, plus the production response guys. We have a C-130 dispersant spray plane on standby in Florida, plus a Conair DC-6 sprayer in Canada, and another 707 that is due to collect 4 skimmers.
Harvey, go ahead.
I spoke to Coast Guard Commander Steve McCall in Valdez, Frank. He's the federal on-scene coordinator for the spill.
Okay, so what's he say?
He says we're authorized to use dispersant in Zone 1.
You're sure about that? Because with this much oil, dispersants are going to be our #1 tool. So I want to be 100% certain, Harvey.
I'm telling you what the man said. I asked him, do we have a go? He said in Zone 1, yes, you do.
She's still leaking pretty bad. It's almost 9 a.m. and there's still no sign of Alyeska's emergency response. What's taking so long, Larry? The ship's still pouring oil. We need that equipment fast. What are you doing? The plan says you should be here by now.
Hey, Dan.
Relax, will you? It's on its way. Everything's being deployed.
What? What's being deployed? Can you tell me?
Look, Dan, it's all on the way, okay?
So just stay cool.
Now, look, I'll get back to you.
What's on its way? What's being deployed?
Everything, Dan. Jeez, that guy. Test? What tests?
The tox tests. Isn't that what you're here for? To take blood and urine samples from the crew?
No, sir, I'm not empowered to do that. They said to go investigate a report that the captain was drunk.
You don't have a tox kit with you?
No, sir. I'm a state trooper with the Department of Fish and Game.
From what they're telling us, sounds like at least 3 of the center cargo tanks and maybe a couple of starboard are pretty badly damaged. I think we're lucky she's still afloat.
Frank, we've got big trouble. That was the Coast Guard in Valdez.
What'd they say, Craig?
They got a new estimate. They say the ship has lost over 8 million gallons.
According to the experts, this is by far the largest oil spill ever recorded in U.S. waters. And yet apparently there are still more than 40 million gallons of crude oil remaining on the tanker. In the event of an oil spill, it's the responsibility of the Alyeska Pipeline Company to launch the emergency response. Alyeska is a consortium of 7 oil companies which owns the pipeline and the Valdez terminal. Alyeska had to give an absolute undertaking before being allowed to build the pipeline that they had an effective contingency plan to respond to any oil spill. And yet, according to the reports that we're getting, that response has been slow to get going.
It's Alyeska. Sons of bitches.
You just stick it in there.
I don't think I can do it right now.
What?
I'm sorry. If you can't piss, you can't piss. Try me later.
Gentlemen, we better get you into these suits. We just ran a computer analysis on the ship's stability. If she goes off the reef, she'll roll over in 30 seconds. This way. Well, Governor, in fact is, what we have here is a travesty. The Alyeska response bars are supposed to be on site within 5 hours. It took them 14. They're supposed to bring 7 skimmers. They brought 3, 2 of which are working. The contingency plan says that the tanker is supposed to be boomed off to contain further leaks. Where's the boom?
So they give an explanation.
That's not Alyeska's style, Governor. Frankly, the contingency plan is not worth the paper that it's written on. And I tell you, I feel sick about it. The Alaskan pipeline was built on the back of promises. Promises that oil would only be shipped from Valdez if there was a proper oil spill plan. Those promises were a joke. And we couldn't ask for better conditions, flat calm. We should be going all out right now with everything we've got. Because everybody knows that if you don't contain an oil spill within the first 12 hours, then you've got real problems. Hell, back in January, Alyeska, it took them 2 weeks to clean up an oil spill of 70,000 gallons, and that was with the tanker in port. How long is this going to take?
There she is. Get the camera.
She's not listing as much as I thought.
Yeah, maybe only 4 or 5 degrees. That's good.
Surf must cover 5 square miles already. Thank God the water's calm.
Why the hell isn't the Baton Rouge alongside of Valdez yet?
Hold on, Frank. Because of the reef, we're having to move real careful. We don't want to run 2 ships aground. Also, we now estimate that only 15% of the Valdez is sitting on the reef. It's kind of balanced amidships. Transfer of any weight could snap it back.
Are you saying if we take off the oil, the ship could break up?
Well, that's a definite risk.
I'm not trying to teach you your business, Bill. You're the skipper of this ship now, but frankly, we have no choice here. We have to get that stuff off. We can't just abandon over 40 million gallons of oil in the middle of the ocean. Whatever it takes, we have to keep that tanker on the reef. He wasn't on the bridge. Where was he?
In his cabin. He left the 3rd mate in charge.
Jesus. I want that son of a bitch off the ship, Bob. When you're through with your investigation, get him off and keep him out of the way.
Can you tell us why the tanker hit the rocks, Mr. Irusty?
Was there mechanical failure on the ship?
Did something go wrong with the Coast Guard
You know how much
radar
oil
system?
has been spilled?
How many tanks on the vessel have been rolled?
Why has
Does
it been
Exxon-
so slow with cleanup?
Does Exxon plan to take control of the cleanup?
What is Exxon's strategy?
We'll have to get together at some point, sir, to talk about testing these dispersants.
Tested. What the hell? I thought we had to go ahead.
Frank, I think they're ready for you now. Excuse me. Come on, Frank.
On behalf of Exxon, I wish to express our regrets for any anxiety or inconvenience caused as a result of the grounding of the Exxon Valdez. Let me assure you that Exxon is mobilizing all the available resources to mitigate the impact from this incident. I also want to state clearly that Exxon has assumed full financial responsibility for the cleanup. Right now, we have two very important objectives: to move aggressively to collect or disperse the oil on the water. Time here is critical. We estimate the slick covers 6 square miles. It's spreading southwards, and we need to move quickly to contain it. Our first option will be to apply chemical dispersants. We also plan to try and burn off some of the slick. At the same time, we need to move cautiously to get the rest of the oil off the ship. This won't be easy.
Why wasn't something done earlier? Why did it take 12 to 14 hours for any containment efforts to happen?
Well, Alaska sure got me out of bed in a hurry. I assume they also had a lot of other people scrambling early on.
What were they doing?
I don't know. I was in Houston.
Are you satisfied, or do you have questions?
I have a lot of questions.
What are you going to do about our herring and salmon? The commercial fishing season starts in 2 weeks' time. It's our livelihood.
I'm not an expert on that, but certainly it's something we're going to be very conscious of.
It sounds like the decision has already been made to use dispersants. Is that correct?
Well, as I understand it, we have authority to test. If it's effective, then we'll start full-scale operations.
What exactly is dispersant? Is it toxic?
No, it's not toxic. It's totally non-toxic.
Wait a minute.
The EPA agrees with that. The Environmental Protection Agency...
May I?
My name is Ricky Ott. I represent the local fishermen of Cordova District Fishermen United. Dispersants are like Joy's soap. They break up the oil on the surface and push it down into the water column.
I don't think we agree with that. If you take dispersant and put it into a container of oil and shake it up, there's no oil anywhere.
That's not true. There have been studies done that show fish pick it up across their gills. The hydrocarbons are stored in their body fat. That's why we're so concerned about dispersants.
Okay, let me bring in Dr. Alan Mackey here. He's a PhD and a scientist with Exxon in Anchorage. He's in a better position to answer these questions than I am.
Before you go any further, I have a master's in oil pollution, PhD in sediment pollution, master's in marine biology, and a PhD in
Well, right now we got about 75 boats and crews standing by ready to help. Well, they'll go wherever you want them to go. You have to just tell it. Yeah, I'll hold.
Have I missed anything? They said how it happened?
They don't know. Or they're not telling, but they reckon that 8 of the ship's 11 cargo tanks have been ruptured.
Holy shit. How much oil has she lost now?
Still saying 8 million gallons. But that was the figure at noon, and we heard the ship's still leaking.
Jesus. And they said this couldn't happen. They promised us the system be safe, for Christ's sake.
Look, we're offering you guys our help here. No, well, you're wrong there, you know, because we probably know the sound better than anyone. Because we fish in it, for Pete's sake.
Who's he talking to?
God, these guys. Alyeska, been on the phone all day offering our boats to help with this thing. You know what he just said? This is an oil spill. We don't use amateurs.
Oh, now they're professionals.
Now, the evidence is that the response was slow and inadequate. And we don't know why, but we intend to find out. Now, there's a lot of speculation about the use of dispersants. Like, everybody realizes that dispersants can cause damage to marine life. Well, I want to assure you that dispersant will only be used in a carefully targeted way. Because you can't use dispersant without doing damage to the marine life. I think that's clear.
I want a meeting with the governor fast. Can we use dispersants or can we? I mean, who the hell is running this show?
No question, oil is big in Alaska. It provides 80% of the state's income, and it pays every resident Alaskan an annual royalty check of over $800 just for living here. And that's on top of no state taxes to pay. But Alaska also prides itself in being the last great wilderness. Yesterday,
Could call them up and find out what we need, okay? And John, why don't you get on over to Exxon and find out what kind of equipment they're ordering, because if Alyeska doesn't have the right kind of boom, we want to make sure that Exxon does.
Alyeska's response has been totally unacceptable. 24 hours into the spill, there is still no adequate containment. Now, the Iosca oil spill contingency plan calls for 21,000 feet of boom to be on hand. Where is it?
Do we know how much oil has finally leaked from the ship, Commissioner?
As my personnel on board the Exxon Valdez tell me that it is 11 million gallons. Anybody tells you anything else is wrong.
I mean, we're short on walkie-talkies, field vehicles, phone lines. Grab as many of all of them any way you can, okay? Thanks, guys. Oh, and don't forget to remind me to get a freezer trailer.
Huh?
Yeah, any of these dead wild critters we find I want to store for evidence.
Oh, yeah. I'll look into it.
Dan, Larry Dietrich's arrived.
Hi, Dan.
Hi, Larry. Jim? Al? You guys have any trouble getting here?
Hell, you're not kidding. It's like Judgment Day out there.
Every flight is booked solid. Seems like the whole world's coming to Valdez right now.
So, where are we up to on this thing?
Well, it's about as bad as it could be right now.
Well, this is early days. There'll be a lot of guys up here soon dealing with this.
It's early days that count, Larry.
Excuse me, but I have a call from Mr. Dietrich from Juneau. I think it's your office. I'm afraid you'll have to take it out here.
Well, so you guys probably want to know what's going on, right? Well, for the most part, we're supposed to liaise with Alyeska, Exxon, and the Coast Guard and monitor the cleanup, but so far nobody's brought anything to clean up with. So all we can do is keep track of the slick and try to protect the most sensitive areas of the sound.
Well, that fits in pretty well with Larry's plan.
Larry's plan? What's that?
His idea is to split the sound into two sectors. Jim and I will cover the near response here by the ship up to Valdez Narrows. Your job is to cover the far response out here by the islands.
Well, that's great, but I mean, you know, what about your sector?
Well, Larry wants us to find boom to put across to Titlic Narrows.
What the hell for?
To protect the native village of Titlic, of course. It's only 6 miles from the grounding site.
But the slick is not headed that way. The current in the sound moves southwest. That's the way the slick is going. It was never headed for Titlic.
Are you sure, Dan? Larry told us that it...
Larry's wrong. I mean, come on, guys. I've been in the Valdez office for 12 years. And I'm telling you, if you boom off to Titlic, this department's going to be the laughing stock. So, please, don't do it.
Okay, you guys filled Dan in on what we're going to be doing?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to work.
As concern is growing about the spread of the oil, the search is on for boom, a form of floating barrier designed to contain the oil on the surface of the water. Meanwhile, attempts are being made today to transfer the oil remaining on board the Exxon Valdez to the Exxon Baton Rouge, now moored alongside her.
Hey! It looks like the whole damn piping system in the tanks is damaged. We'll have to shut down lightering off the oil, else we're gonna start a whole new spill.
Okay, Bill. Yeah, keep me posted.
Well, at least we got that ship boomed off now.
As a matter of fact, I don't think we have, Frank.
What? Why the hell not?
The guys on board reckoned she wasn't going to leak anymore.
Look, I'm getting a lot of public heat on this one, Craig. I don't care what those guys' reasons are. I want that ship boomed off, and I want it done now.
So far, there has been no announcement from the White House about the spill, but Washington insiders speculate that the scale of this incident could have implications for the Bush administration's pro-oil energy policy. A bill is currently before the Congress to allow drilling in Alaska's Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. Environmentalists fiercely oppose that plan. The Exxon Valdez spill is likely to bring a new urgency to the issue.
The major navigational hazard is Valdez Narrows. That is where we concentrate our radar coverage. We do not have cover all the way into the Sound. Yes, ma'am.
Are you saying then that the tanker couldn't be seen on radar?
No, ma'am. What I'm saying is, at that time, the radar watch did not have the vessel under constant surveillance.
Why not?
Well, it's not mandated, not according to U.S. traffic rules.
Well, was the radar set to the range that the operator, if he was watching the screen, could have seen the ship?
Well, those are questions which will have to be resolved by the investigation. Yes, sir.
Yeah, my name is Jack Lamb. I'm vice president of Cordova Fishermen United. I've been fishing in this area for about 20 years. I would have assumed that when a tanker requests permission to deviate from the standard tanker lanes, it's at least monitored on radar during that time.
Well, he was in radio contact. He reported no problems. No other traffic was about at the time. Visibility was good. All he did was ask permission to go from the outbound lane to the inbound. And that's really routine.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's sure as hell not in that lane now, is he?
That's correct.
Whose rules are we playing under here? I mean, I thought we were dealing with Alyeska, but where's Alyeska? I mean, ever since this thing began, they seem to have shrunk into the background. Do we know what our legal position is on that, Michelle?
Well, under the state's contingency plan, Alyeska is responsible for tanker spills in Prince William Sound. But federal law puts the obligation on the spiller. That's Exxon.
So, which takes priority?
Law doesn't say.
Terrific.
Alyeska, of course, is claiming that their response on day one was merely on Exxon's behalf.
That's bull. It suits Alyeska to say that because they weren't prepared, just as it does every other oil company in the consortium. Because BP and Arco aren't shedding any tears over Exxon. They're rivals in the same damn business. All they care about is getting back to shipping oil from that pipeline at a profit of $400,000 an hour.
Excuse me, but I have a guy from the Coast Guard on the line.
All right, I'll take it.
Thanks, Dan. I appreciate that. Okay. What is our authority on this, Michelle, huh?
Basically, Denny, unless the spiller fails in his duty to clean up, the state can only watch and advise.
So you're saying that we have absolutely no say in this unless Exxon screws up?
Essentially, yes.
But then it's too late.
I know, but if we step in too early, they could legally walk away, leaving us to foot the bill.
Catch-22.
Well, I don't think the state can be seen to just do nothing on this. Somehow, we've got to get some shove in this situation.
Damn it, I have to go back. I forgot the video camera. What? I have to be able to show the results. This is a dispersant test, remember? Excuse me.
It's gonna be too dark if we don't hurry this up.
What's with all this testing? Anyway, let's just do it.
He can call it what he likes. Frankly, once we get up there, we drop as much of the damn stuff as we can.
Okay, let's do it again. Ready? Boom's on. That's good. You're looking real good. You see where the light is reflecting better off where they just sprayed? That's because the dispersant is breaking up the oil.
You see that, Commander?
I'm not sure. It's not showing very clearly through the camera.
If you put the camera down, you can see it better.
Look, there's a path a mile long, going right through the middle of the slick.
I don't think it's gonna show much on the video. The light's too low.
You just have to look. It's all there.
It's no good, Frank. If I can't show the test, other people won't be able to evaluate if we should go ahead.
Well, let's check with Kelso's guys in the observation chopper. DC? DC, how is that for you guys?
We're not sure, Dr. Lindblom. Some of the guys here are saying they think the plane may have sprayed over water, not oil.
There's nothing to say that I can't continue testing as long as it takes. If you guys want to try another trial run tomorrow, it's fine with me.
We didn't get a permit for today's test until almost 2 o'clock, Commander. That process has got to be speeded up.
Well, your spray plane from Anchorage didn't arrive till nearly 4 o'clock.
Underlining growing national concern for the spill was the arrival in Valdez today of Rear Admiral Edward Nelson, Jr., commander of the Alaska Coast Guard. There was speculation that the admiral would be taking over from Commander Steve McCall as the federal on-scene coordinator, but Nelson denied this.
Right now, the oil spill is 30 square miles, but we've had 2 days of flat calm. Essentially, absolutely no cleanup is going on here.
So what is Exxon up to?
Well, they're trying to mobilize booms and skimmers from right around the world. That takes time. When they get here, things will get better.
Don't bet on it. I mean, come on, anybody who knows anything about oil spill knows you only get 10 to 15% of it at best anyway. And that still leaves us with one hell of a problem, right, Larry?
So what are you suggesting? Because the lack of any equipment here is throwing us back on dispersants a hell of a lot more than we'd like.
Yeah, dispersants. Dispersants happens to be one of the tools of oil spill cleanup. Now let's try them, and if they work, let's use them, for God's sake.
Dan Lon.
Yeah, this is Lon. Is this Doug?
Yeah. We just got the new aerial surveys in. Can you come over so we can sort out schedules for tomorrow?
Yeah, okay, I'll be right over, Doug.
Dan Lon.
The whole damn thing's a shambles. Even if Alyeska had done what the plan says, they still wouldn't have done any better.
So how'd they get away with a plan like this?
Ask Kelso and his guys in D.C. They approved it.
Still not provided an adequate response structure, in spite of the fact that they...
From what I hear, Kelso never even read it.
We are still having trouble getting information out of Exxon because they refuse to allow us proper access. They promise us boom, they promise us boats, they provide nothing.
Portable pumps are now on the damaged Exxon Valdez, enabling the transfer to continue of the 40 million gallons of oil still on board the vessel. But tonight, fears are growing that the spill is spreading through the waters of the Sound uncontrolled and maybe uncontrollable. Of the estimated 11 million gallons of oil lost from the ship, less than 50,000 have been recovered so far. Hopes now rest on dispersing the slick or burning it. The first test burn will happen tonight, apparently.
That's fantastic, Craig. 15,000 gallons in 1 hour.
Yeah, 98% effective. But we got one problem, Frank.
What's that?
The burn produces a thick black smoke that's pretty toxic. We've had complaints from one of the nearby native villages, a place called Tititlik. They say the test caused headaches and nausea. Also that pregnant women were affected.
Pregnant women?
We had an unconfirmed report that the fumes caused one lady to abort.
Did we issue a permit for this burn?
Yeah. Turns out Dan authorized it. Dan Lon. It's not his job, Daddy. Just went ahead off it on his own bat and did it. See, that's what I'm saying. This guy thinks he should be in charge. He's a loose cannon.
Look, John, the burn test needed okaying. Management wasn't around, the Coast Guard came to me, so I okayed it. We don't have time to mess with office rules. Besides that abortion thing, that was just a rumor. We checked it out. Did you guys get any of my messages?
No? What messages?
Basically, I'm trying to organize some protection for the more sensitive creeks and bays out on the islands. I got a freelance contractor finding me boom all around the lower 48. The National Guard says they'll fly it up for free. All I need is boats to help get it out to the sites. You guys help?
We thought nobody'd ever ask. You just tell us what you want, Dan, you got it.
The way we feel now, we'd mop up that oil with Kleenex if we had to.
Yeah? Well, pretty soon it might come to that. All right. I'll keep in touch. Can I talk to you?
We're going to start shipping oil tomorrow, Dan.
What's that? What?
We're going to open the terminal to tankers tomorrow.
Well, what are you talking about, Theo? We're in the middle of a cleanup here, for Christ's sake. Besides, you don't have any tugs at the terminals. They're all down at the Valdez.
Well, that's simple. We'll take our tugs back. There are tugs. We'll do with them what the hell we like.
What's Exxon supposed to do then?
That's Exxon's problem.
What concerns me, Frank, is the public perception that nothing's being done. Now, why in God's name are we still testing these dispersants?
I wish I knew, Bill. McCall has the right to authorize dispersants.
It's Zone 1, but he keeps referring the decision to the state.
So what's the state's problem?
Well, my guess is
The governor doesn't want to upset the fishermen or his environmental people.
the problem is we can't get to see him about it.
I'm going to be in Washington tomorrow. And if it'll help, I'll talk to Secretary Skinner. Or try to see the president himself, if necessary. We obviously need some push here.
Well, we have to do something. Right now, that oil is just sitting there.
How about yourself, Frank?
Can you cut down on these press conferences?
I mean, 2 a day seems an awful lot with everything else you got to do.
I don't think we can change that now, Bill.
The press here would probably lynch us.
Maybe we should get Don Cornett down from Anchorage
To help you out.
Okay.
And if I could come in here, Frank, I think we need to make these press shows work a little better for us.
Right now, we seem to be everybody's favorite punching bag.
So maybe we should get off the ropes and start hitting back.
Okay, Frank.
Whatever you say, Bill.
Look, if you just stockpile that stuff for now, I'll make sure somebody ferries it down to the dock, okay? Or I'll come down and get it myself. Over and out. Did any of that boom for the islands arrive yet? What's the matter?
The boom's not coming, Dan.
What do you mean?
Larry Dietrich canceled it.
He did. Why?
He said he hadn't authorized it.
I spoke to Kelso.
Larry said it was too expensive, something about the department only having 50 grand available.
Come on, guys, this is an emergency here. We do not have time to nickel and dime.
Just telling you what Larry said, Dan. And he's the guy running our field ops.
Sorry, Dan.
Yeah, great. That's great. You know, we ought to put everybody back on an airplane and send them home.
Frank Iarossi has impressed on me the urgency of a clear-cut decision on the use of dispersants. I have to say, I think he's right. We've got a heck of a big spill out there. We could skim forever, Denny, and still not get rid of it.
Okay, mechanical cleanup is maybe not the whole answer. But we still feel that dispersant should only be considered on a case-by-case basis. We are not ready to sign off on its open-ended use.
This is the Coast Guard Marine Safety Office in Valdez. We have a small boats advisory storm warning for all vessels in the Prince William Sound area. As of this evening, winds will gust up to 50 knots and more, with seas of 6 to 8 feet expected.
I just think we need to be careful here, that's all.
We're being so damn careful that nobody is actually doing anything.
No. It's a trade-off between the damage that dispersant could cause and the oil washing up on the beaches.
Look, the dispersant we're using is EPA approved. It is completely safe, and after the latest test, we believe it is now working effectively on the oil. You can't just ignore it.
Oh, wait a minute. You're forgetting you're the guys who've been promising to send boom and stuff up here to protect the shoreline, huh? Where is it?
There are 100 square miles of oil out there. No amount of equipment is going to deal with that.
And whose fault is that, huh? If the oil industry had been prepared in the first place, we wouldn't even be sitting here.
Well, I take it then, gentlemen, and madam, that we have agreement to use dispersant in Zone 1?
Okay, you can start first off tomorrow. Only don't get too carried away. I'd recommend that you stick just to the leading edge of Zone 1.
Port, get it! We're gonna hit that slick with everything we got, Craig. On the hell out of it!
Governor Cooper of Alaska tonight declared a state of emergency as a first step to persuading Washington to take charge of the cleanup. To date, the White House has remained unusually silent on the first major environmental crisis of the Bush presidency. But whatever happens now, it may do little to change a worsening situation in Prince William Sound. After 3 days of good weather, less than 1% of the oil has been recovered from the water. Late this afternoon, Exxon was given the go-ahead to launch its full dispersant program. But with winds in the Sound gusting to 70 knots tonight, experts are warning it's too little, too late.
The vessel's shifting around like we're on some roller coaster ride. I don't know how long the reef's going to hold us. Right.
Naked Island, Peak Island, Smith, Eleanor Island, Ingot Island too. They've all been hit.
It's almost 40 miles it's moved in one night. Ed, if you agree to take charge of this cleanup, I'll back you with everything I've got. What we need right now is a dictator, somebody who can say, do it, and it gets done.
Frank, I agree with you completely, but, you know, I can't do that unless the Coast Guard is given formal approval by Washington.
It doesn't have to be formalized. Let's just do it. Any shots you call, I'll see my people carry them out.
Frank, if I took over here, my top brass would go nuts. You see, a couple of years back, we had a big spill up in Cook Inlet. Well, the company responsible screwed up, so we jumped in. Boy, did we get burned. Lawsuits all over us. No, sir. My people are not going to let that happen again. Not unless the president gives the order himself.
Put me through to Bill Stevens in Houston, please. I'll tell you now, Bill. We will get the rest of the oil off of the Valdez. And we will get the ship salvaged, I'm confident of that. But keeping the oil off the beaches, that's one battle I'm afraid we've lost. And I hate to say it, but that's the battle that counts. We got beat. And the media's gonna kill us for that. Believe me, there'll be no prisoners taken.
Okay, Frank. We hear what you're saying.
What the hell's going on here?
Sir.
They're telling me that there's a guy from the Environmental Protection Agency is going to be on my plane. Somebody call Riley.
Riley, sir?
What the hell's he doing on my plane, for Pete's sake? This is a marine accident. It has absolutely nothing to do with the EPA. Damn it! They're trying to muscle in on this show.
What do we know about Riley? Well, he's new to the job. Been running the EPA just 6 weeks. People say he's pretty smart, and he speaks what he thinks. Just what I was afraid of.
With the oil slick now plastering hundreds of beaches along the Alaska shoreline, making it one of the nation's worst ever environmental tragedies, President Bush has dispatched a top-level delegation to Prince William Sound with orders to report back on the progress of the cleanup. The delegation includes Admiral Paul Yost, Commandant of the U.S. Coast Guard, and William Riley, Director of the EPA. Heading the presidential team is Transportation Secretary Samuel Skinner.
Oh, Paul, I don't believe you've met Bill Riley of the EPA, Admiral Yost.
Admiral?
Mr. Riley?
Asked if Washington is to take charge of the spill, the president said it is one option under consideration. The president declined to comment on suggestions that the cleanup had gone badly wrong, saying only that he thought Exxon had made a good start.
Shit, that son of a bitch ain't no Texan for nothing. Let's get that Alaska bastard.
These death threats we're getting may just be hoaxes, Frank, but the mood's turning pretty ugly here right now, and I'm not taking any chances. We're having Houston send up a couple undercover guys, keep an eye on you, and just to be safe, we're going to change your room. Word is that the New York office is pretty steamed up about the bum rap that the company's getting in the media. They want to slam the state and the Coast Guard for holding up the use of dispersants.
That's going to help nobody, Don.
Well, they're under a lot of pressure, Frank.
Who the hell isn't? I'm telling you, it's a losing tactic. It'll only worsen relations. It won't help the problem we got here, which is an oil cleanup. I'm sorry, I want no part of it. And you can tell them that, too.
Well, I hear what you're saying, Frank. Right now, I don't think New York's listening to anybody.
What we're getting from Exxon is just another blizzard of statistics designed to obscure the fact that they are totally unprepared to deal with the #1 problem here, which is shorelines everywhere splattered with oil.
What's Kelso think he's doing, beating up on Exxon all the time? It's just not productive, Dan. And can you tell me why they refused Irassi's offer to join Exxon's command post? I mean, if we want to work with those guys, that would have made a lot of sense.
Our guys are just scared. They don't want to get lumped in with Exxon in this mess. It's politics, John. That's what's driving this whole deal, politics. I mean, ever since anybody started wondering how the Alaska contingency plan got approved in the first place, Kelso has been trying to deflect the heat. They're not asking what needs to be done here. They're just saying, how are we going to look further down the line?
The fishermen? Yeah, Jack Lamb and his guys from Cordova. We got to talking, and they were telling me what they reckoned was the only practical thing that could be done right now. Made a whole lot of sense to me.
I'd like to welcome everybody to this, the first of our new operations group meetings. To begin, I think the best way...
Just a minute, Steve. I'm not sure we should go ahead while there are outsiders present.
Excuse me, Ed. These guys are with me. I asked them to come along tonight because, well, they're all of them local fishermen from this area, and well, they have some practical proposals about this cleanup. I think we ought to listen to them.
Okay. Let's hear what you got to say. Wait a minute here. I was a local Coast Guard commander in Texas when the Mexicans had that blowout in '79. Well, that was well over 10 times the size of this spill, but we handled it and got cleaned up.
Yeah, but as I recall, that took place out at sea. Most of the oil was burned up at the fireball. This is inshore. Plus, we're dealing with cold water, so we've got a biodegradability problem.
What I'm trying to say here, let's not get this out of proportion, okay? Now, it's a big spill, sure, but it's not a catastrophe. Now, my people handle a lot of marine accidents, but they tell me that basically it's under control.
Excuse me, Mr. Riley.
Hey, go easy on him, Paul. He's only doing what the president ordered.
I'm not trying to waste
The president?
Oh, sure. Bush invited him along on this. He knows Riley quite well, apparently.
Well, hell, I didn't know that.
Anyway, politically, it's a good idea, you know. Shows we're not ignoring the green angle.
Just as long as he knows it's Coast Guard territory he's on.
But we learned today that the slick is not just moving south into Montague Strait. We expected that. But what's new is it's also pushing out here to the west. That spells disaster.